Welcome to the preview for Happy Valley. There's a jackpot tomorrow night. Very tough opening leg. The last leg looks a little bit light on chances, so it looks like we're probably going to have to play very wide to get there. Starting in race 1, not much of a race as usual. Gold Tartini, they scratched it last week. It's worked well since. Maria is on. I think it's a one to beat. Not much depth in this race. Humongous from barrier 1. If the old goat can hold up 2 or 3 back the rails, it's capable of running a place in a race like this. There's a lot of these are coming back off 6, 7 and 8 week gaps. This is a dangerous time now for these type of horses. They need to win a race to be able to race next season, a lot of these, especially the 7 and 8 year olds. So what they do is they give them a little bit of a let up and then bring them back for one last hurrah if they can get them there. Dark Secret always around the place, same as Mobile King. We've seen all these all season. None of them have got any form. Based on that and the fact that Gold Tartini's probably dropped into a nice weak race, got it on top from Starlit Warrior, Dark Secret, Humongous, chances to Viva Guy, Mobile King, probably Chantilly on a lesser extent with the new trainer. 1 on top from 8, 3, 7, 5, 4 and 10. Race 2, 1,000 metre race with the C+3. You need to be up on the speed. Very hard for them to make ground coming around that tight bend. I've got 6 on top, Ocean Roar, should lead. It's going to be hard to run down. 55 kilos. Number 11, Excel Oneself. It'll be right in the finish from barrier 4, like China Power. Now, it's going to need a little bit of luck from barrier 1. Doesn't have the speed to keep up with them early, but it'll be charging late. Monte Costello was a much better run last start, but barrier 10, no help. Hurry Up. Yeah, it's got a draw, but 1,000 metres probably a little bit sharp for it. Nazarcat's Lad real fit. They look best of the rest. 6 on top from 11 and 7. Chances to 2, 8, 9 and 3. We go to race 3. Not a lot of depth in this race. Small field. Got 6 Gold Addiction clearly on top. Probably going to start short. It's not a betting proposition. From 2, Real Generous. 3, Forgive and Forget. Chances to 1, Galaxy Prancer. 7, Flying Chaparral. 5, Grand Elite. Not much of a race. Not one we'd ever touch. 6 from 2, 3, 7, 1 and 5. We get to the opening leg of the TTs. About 8 million up for grabs. This is going to be very tough. There's 10 horses that we finished up having to leave in. There's 2 that shouldn't have any hope. There's about 4 that are borderline goats. So it is a very, very tough race. This it'll be 5 to 1 the field. The top weight's an interesting one, dropping back down to this class. It's running much better races at Sha Tin. It's got to go in. Spitfire, Maria goes on now. It's a very significant riding change there. It's going to be right on the speed. Doesn't need the lead. I think Jade Pippo will come across. If he surrenders the lead, it'll be better. Otherwise, Jade Pippo's probably going to sit outside him. They look the only 2 that have got any natural speed here, so they should settle 1-2. Demon always got to go in a race like this. Better if they go back and ride it cold. It'll be charging late. Nobody But You's got the good draw, but it's a little bit out of form, but not impossible for it to bounce back. Its last run was better than it looks on paper. Lord Dragon, it's ready to win. Chadwick rides this horse well. It goes in. Very, very tough race. I've sort of got 7 main chances and then sort of 3 that are borderline with only a few runs and they could improve. The main 7 are 6, 3, 10, 9, 1, 2 and 12. And then we've got sort of below the line when we do our assessments, second string horses, 8, 5 and 11. We try to incorporate them somehow. At this stage, probably 10 all ways is a little bit too wide. We're probably going to play 7 all ways and possibly 2 out of the top 5 with the extra couple. But we'll look at that closer tomorrow. Very, very tough race. Could set up a massive TT if the right ones come. We go to race 5. This one looks a little bit devoid of massive chances. Robust momentum. It's racing well. Barrier 8, a little bit wide for me, but there's a little bit of speed in this race, so he might be able to slot in. Southern Springs is the interesting one for me. Teton Goes On. Drew bad first up. They went back. It came charging home late. This will ping out and be right on the speed. Could even lead this if he wanted to. He's had 5 goes here at this track, but a lot of those were when he was running around in 1,000 and 1,200 metre races until they woke up that it's not a sprinter. This is a miler. It's now at the right trip. It's got the right draw, and I think this is very hard to beat. Real General runs nice even races whenever it draws low. It's got the low draw again to just get a suck run behind them. Dragon Glory. Now it's put in 2 very ordinary ones, but dropping back down to this grade again, I think that's the key. It's got to go in. Played Ren Banner at Twin Turbo, looked best of the rest. So we've sort of got 6 tier 1 level horses, and then below that we've got Cultural City and Cheryl's Horse. Now both of these could improve significantly on their last couple of runs. Cheryl's Horse was a good run, although it was in slow time first start here. I think it can improve. Thanksgiving, it's probably best of the rest, but it's drawn badly, and it's going to probably have to work pretty hard to get into any sort of position here. I've got 5 and 10 bracketed together at the top from 12, 1, 6, 2, 3, and 7. The last leg doesn't look much depth here. Depending on what he does, Dickie Lou was fun and games. If he gets it out of the gate straight away and gets to the front, that'll be it. It should win. If he doesn't cross and Sight Believer, Marira holds up on Sight Believer and wants to keep him outside, then they're going to be a sitting shot for London Walk. It's going to camp right on the pair. They look the main 3 chances, 1, 2 and 3. The interesting 2 are going to be 5 Roman Legend, which will be giving him a start and charging late, and 6 Harbour Punt. Now this is trialled really well. Looks cherry ripe. Teton Goes On. It's only had 2 starts overseas. It did win in New Zealand before coming here. It's very hard for them to win first up here, especially at the Valley in these PP races. But it looks best of the rest. And after that, well, there's probably 7, 10 and 12 if you were considering, if we look at maybe a double banker scenario looking to go wide for a blowout, they're the only ones. But 3 to beat 1 and 2 is the main go. 5 and 6 have got a place chance. And then on a lesser line, 7, 10 and 12. We go to race 7. Flying Elite was terrific first up. Now it's got a beautiful draw. It's going to get a lovely camp on the speed. It's going to be hard to beat. Formula One's racing well. Drops down to 52 kilos. That's significant. And it's got to go in. Tableau, it was given no hope last start the way they rode the race. Preble Goes On. It's going to improve. Its trial was terrific. Its track work was good. And then he slaughtered it first up. So expect big improvement from it. Majestic Anthem, now it's an interesting one. It's got into the race with the scratching. It's got to go in. Best of the rest to prove and Beauty lead. Quite a good race. 6 on top from 11 and 3. Chances to 10, 1, 4 and 7 on a lesser line. We go to the last. King Derby. Hit a purple patch now. The draw is not going to do it any favours, but there is a bit of speed here with Nordic Ones. Going to go pretty hard, and probably all friends will go with it. Beauty Journey's there as well. So there is a fair bit of speed here. It could open the field up. Super Abundant. It was very good last start. Was a little bit green. It'll take a bit from that. Callan Goes On. Stronger rider. It's got a chance. All Win Boy from Barrier 1's going to get a nice run. It's got to be included. Silly Buddy, Sunny Faye look best of the rest, and then a lesser line, Nordic One, All Friends. Interesting card. Obviously, the TT is the main concern for us. The 2 quartets we probably pass and concentrate on the TT at this stage. If we decide to play quartets, we'll play late. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Good luck if you're playing. There's a couple that I've found in Australia on Wednesday if you're interested in having a bet. In race 7 at Randwick, number 13, the Alfonso. I think this is ready to win. Got 6 to 1. I think that's a fair price. If you can get that sort of price, I think it's got a great chance. We go to a race at Belmont race 8. Yeah, probably number 2, Fabulistic, dropping down to midweek level. I think this has got a good chance. Chris Parnham, yeah, that's the only problem, of course. Not a premier rider by any stretch of the imagination. A reasonable premise, but yeah, you'd want double figures. If you can get double figures, then I'd say okay, we'll wait and see what happens with it. And of the rest of the meetings, there's not much going around anywhere. Sandown, I don't think much of that meeting. So good luck if you're playing in anywhere there. The Randwick one is probably the better one for me. Randwick race 7, the Alfonso. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck during the week. And good luck to everyone for tomorrow night in the TT.